switch to the fast lane. Ain't nobody checking me. Yeah, hit the throttle, feel that raw torque in the engine now.
Have you ever looked at a game and genuinely questioned whether it was real life? Well, this isn't real life. This is Forza Horizon 6. Over the last few weeks, I've spent hours testing almost every graphics setting imaginable, trying different combinations, comparing image quality, tweaking performance, and honestly, I think I finally found the perfect balance. If you ever wanted your game to look as close to real life as possible, this video is for you. Before we even launch Forza Horizon 6, there's one important thing we need to do first, and that's setting up the NVIDIA control panel. A lot of people spend hours tweaking the in-game graphics settings, but completely overlook the NVIDIA settings. The truth is, these settings can improve image quality, reduce input latency, and make your gameplay much smoother. So before we jump into the game, let me quickly show you the exact NVIDIA global settings I'm using. Let's quickly go through them one by one, and I'll explain why I use each of them. Starting with DLSS override frame generation. I've left this on use 3D application setting. I don't like forcing features globally because every game behaves differently. It's always better to let the game decide when frame generation should be enabled. The same goes for DLSS super resolution mode again. I've left it on the game's own settings. This gives me much better compatibility and avoids unexpected visual issues. Smooth motion is turned off. Right now I prefer native rendering instead of artificial frame generation because it gives me the cleanest image and the lowest latency. Low latency mode is also turned off. You might think that's a strange choice, but Forza Horizon 6 already supports NVIDIA Reflex. Reflex is much better at reducing input delay than forcing low latency mode globally. CUDA sysmem fallback policy is left on driver default. This is something NVIDIA already manages extremely well, so there's really no reason to change it. DSR factors are disabled. I'm already playing at native 1440p resolution, so I don't need the GPU rendering at an even higher resolution for GPU assignment. I've selected my NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3060. This makes sure the game always uses my dedicated graphics card. Image scaling is turned off since I'm already gaming at my monitor's native resolution. Enabling image scaling would only reduce image quality. Maximum frame rate is disabled. I want my graphics card to push as many frames as possible without an artificial limit. OpenGL GDI compatibility stays on auto. This doesn't affect Forza Horizon 6, so leaving it on auto is the safest option. Now here's one of the most important settings. Power management mode is set to prefer maximum performance. This prevents the graphics card from lowering its clock speeds while you're playing and helps deliver much more consistent performance. RTX dynamic vibrance is turned off. I prefer keeping the game's original colors exactly the way the developers intended instead of artificially boosting saturation. Shader cache is set to 10 GB. This is one of my favorite optimizations. A larger shader cache helps reduce shader compilation stutters and makes gameplay feel much smoother, especially after you've been driving around the map for a while. Vertical sync is turned off. I prefer lower input latency, and if I ever need synchronization, I let the game handle it instead. The variable rate super sampling for virtual reality is disabled since I'm not playing in VR. There's simply no need for this feature. Vulkan and OpenGL represent method is left on auto. Again, the NVIDIA driver already knows the best option here. Anisotropic filtering is set to application controlled. Forza already has an excellent implementation, so I let the game handle it. FXAA is turned off. It removes jagged edges, but it also makes the entire image look softer. Since I'm already using DLAA inside the game, I don't need FXAA. Anti-aliasing transparency is set to 8 times super sample. This improves the quality of thin objects like fences, leaves, wires, and vegetation. It costs a little performance, but the visual improvement is definitely worth it if your graphics card can handle it. Background application maximum frame rate is turned off. I don't usually leave games running in the background, so I don't need to limit them. MFAA is disabled again because DLA already provides excellent image quality. Physics is left on auto. The NVIDIA driver automatically selects the best processor, so there's no reason to force it manually. Texture filtering, anisotropic sample optimization is disabled. I always prioritize image quality over tiny performance gains. Negative LOD bias is set to clamp. This helps reduce shimmering and flickering on distant road fences. And detailed textures. Texture filtering quality is set to high quality. This is another setting I highly recommend. It improves texture clarity throughout the entire game with almost no noticeable performance loss. Texture filtering trilinear optimization is enabled. This gives a small performance improvement while having virtually no visible impact on image quality, making it a good balance between visuals and performance. And that's it. These aren't magic settings that will instantly double your FPS, but together they create a much better foundation before we even launch the game. Now that the NVIDIA driver is fully optimized, and we'll dive into Forza Horizon 6 to build an ultra-realistic graphics setup that makes this game look almost indistinguishable from real life. Now, let's get started. We'll begin with the video settings because these lay the foundation before we move on to the advanced graphics options. Let's start with brightness. I've kept brightness at the default value to maintain the natural lighting as it is. If you increase it too much, the shadows will lose depth. If you lower it too much, darker areas may lose detail. Keeping it at the default value ensures the most balanced image. Next is HDR. HDR is disabled because my monitor doesn't support it, but if your display does support HDR, I definitely recommend enabling it. Sunlight becomes brighter, reflections look more realistic, and sunsets become absolutely beautiful. Now let's talk about resolution. I'm playing at 2560 by 1440. For me, this is the sweet spot. The image is incredibly sharp while still delivering excellent performance. You get fantastic visual quality without the heavy performance hit that usually comes with 4K. Moving on to frame rate, I've left it completely unlocked because I want my graphics card to deliver as many frames as possible. Higher frame rates don't just make the game smoother, they also make steering, camera movement, and the overall driving experience feel much more natural. VSync is turned off. I personally prefer lower input latency because the steering feels much more responsive. If screen tearing bothers you, you can always turn it back on. Full screen mode is enabled. This usually provides the best performance because the game gets direct access to the graphics card. I've also turned the FPS counter off. Once I know everything is running smoothly, I'd rather enjoy the drive than stare at numbers in the corner of my screen. Motion blur is completely disabled. Real cameras already create natural motion. Artificial motion blur only softens the image. I want every frame to stay clean, sharp, and cinematic. The user interface scale stays at 100%. Everything remains easy to read without taking up too much screen space. Temporal anti-aliasing or TAA is turned off. It reduces jagged edges, but it also softens the image. Since I'm using NVIDIA DLA, I simply don't need it. And honestly, DLA is one of my favorite settings. It keeps road markings, trees, fences, and even the smallest badges on the cars incredibly sharp without introducing unwanted shimmering. Sharpness is set to 0. DLAA already produces a naturally sharp image. Adding extra sharpening usually creates ugly halos around objects, so I prefer keeping everything looking clean and realistic. AMD native anti-aliasing is disabled because I'm using an NVIDIA graphics card. Intel XS anti-aliasing is also disabled because it isn't needed on my setup. NVIDIA Reflex is enabled with On Plus Boost. This reduces input latency and makes steering feel much more responsive. Whether you're using a controller or a racing wheel, you'll definitely notice a difference. Now this one might surprise a few people. DLSS is actually turned off. Since my system comfortably handles native 1440p, I'd rather prioritize maximum image quality over a few extra frames. AMD FSR is also disabled. Native rendering simply gives me cleaner visuals. Intel XS Super Resolution is disabled as well. And Fidelity FX CAS sharpening is also turned off because DLAA already provides all the sharpness I need. Now let's move over to the camera settings because these completely change the way the game feels. For the chase camera, I've kept it very close to the default field of view. This makes the car feel larger, heavier and much more cinematic. The far chase camera also stays close to the default value. It's a perfect experience for long highway cruises, scenic roads and those breathtaking cinematic shots. For the driver camera, I've increased the field of view to around 70 degrees. It opens up the cockpit, lets you see much more of the dashboard and mirrors and genuinely feels like you're sitting behind the wheel. I've done exactly the same for the dashboard camera. The wider perspective makes every drive feel more immersive, especially when you're driving through mountain roads or city streets. Alright, now we get to the part everyone came here for, the graphic settings. This is where the game really starts looking like real life. Let's quickly go through them one by one. Car level of detail. I keep this on extreme. This setting controls how detailed every car looks. It improves body panels, interiors, badges and small details. Cars stay sharp even when viewed up close. Environment texture quality. I use Ultra. This improves the quality of roads, buildings, trees, rocks and every surface in the game. Everything looks cleaner, sharper and more realistic. Environment geometry quality. I keep this on Ultra. This controls how detailed the world itself is. You get better looking buildings, vegetation and terrain with less pop-in. Car reflection quality. I use Ultra. This makes reflections on your car look much more realistic. Paint, windows and body panels have a premium showroom finish. Screen space reflections. I turn this off. Doesn't improve visuals enough to justify the performance cost. Keeping it off gives me smoother gameplay. Ray traced reflections, I also keep this off. Ray tracing looks amazing, but it requires a very powerful graphics card. Turning it off gives much better performance. Shadow quality, I keep this on Ultra. This creates sharper and more realistic shadows. Cars, trees and buildings all look more natural. Night shadows. I use Ultra, night driving becomes much more immersive. Street lights and headlights cast detailed shadows everywhere. Screen space, global illumination, I keep this on high. This improves indirect lighting. Light bounces naturally between nearby objects. The world feels more realistic without a huge performance hit. Ray trace global illumination, I keep this off. It delivers incredible lighting, but the performance cost is simply too high. Shader quality, I use Ultra. This improves how paint, glass, metal, water and road surfaces react to light. Everything looks richer and more lifelike. Audio quality, I keep this on Ultra. Engine sounds, tire noise, environmental effects becoming more vivid. Deformable terrain quality, I use high. Mud, sand, snow and dirt react more realistically when driving. Tire tracks also look much better. Particle effects quality, I keep this on medium. Smoke, dust, sparks and debris still look great. At the same time, it helps improve performance. Volumetric fog quality, I use high. Fog, mist and atmospheric lighting become much more realistic. This is a great balance between visuals and performance. Lens effects. Lens effects are on Ultra, and the bloom and light streaks enhance the cinematic quality, while the camera effects add a more dramatic flair. Motion blur quality, I use low. It adds a sense of speed, but it keeps the image sharp while driving. And this is my complete ultra realistic graphics setup. Every single setting I have described is a testament to the meticulous attention to detail in my ultra realistic graphics setup. Not only do I ensure the game looks visually stunning, but I also aim to create a believable and immersive experience. However, I must emphasize that these settings are just the beginning of the story. I'm also using a carefully selected collection of visual mods, camera improvements, lighting enhancements, and a few extra tweaks that completely transform the experience. I'll be making a dedicated video showing every single mod I use, where to download them and how to install them, and exactly how I set everything up. So if you don't want to miss that video, make sure you're subscribed. If you decide to try these settings, let me know in the comments how they work on your PC, and if you found a combination that looks even better. I'd genuinely love to hear about it. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, it really helps the channel. Until next drive.
It's just the way I navigate, moving at a higher speed, I control my own fate. The steering Chronicles, yeah, that's how we set it straight.